Imagine this being your first plane ride. You get stranded on a desert island.
What's up, everybody? I'm Julia Loken.
I'm Stevie Anderson.
And I'm Lisa Chanou.
And we're What's Your Sign, a comedy astrology podcast for lovers and haters. And we are back on this island. The boys have joined the chat. Today we are talking about The Wilds Season 2, breaking down the character astrology. So light a candle, flip a tarot card, charge those crystals. Let's get ready to go in the stars with The Wilds. All right, let's begin with Kieran.
All right, everybody up.
He is, a man in charge, asserts himself, puts himself out there. I think he would absolutely volunteer to go first. So let's start with Kieran. What are you guys thinking?
Kieran is just straight up not shy. He has a lot of Mars energy to me and is a natural leader. I feel like even when he pauses leading, the boys all want him to continue leading. They're like, hey, where'd that leader go? Because even though they're bothered by him and he's really abrasive, he's usually like doing a good job at the leadership position. So I'm going to go with Aries Sun. It's pretty stereotypical, but he's a pretty stereotypical Aries Sun person. He's an athlete. He's a leader. He has these boyish good looks. He's like a child at heart. You know, he's got this beautiful page boy 90s pop band haircut. It just feels very young and fresh. I do think there's some Taurus in the mix. I'm not sure where, because I do get this sense while he has that kind of sparky Aries energy, there is that kind of Taurus holding down the fort, mama bear, protective over those who he really cares about. So maybe his moon, I don't know, but I am going to throw Sag Rising in the mix only just because of his Carly Rae Jepsen dance number and moving those hips, which is very Sagittarius and very fun. He does also have a lot of foot and mouth that I think Sagittarius can have, and also being sort of baited to say things or to be led on, which feels very fiery in general. And I like this being his like 12th house is kind of scorpionic, because I think there's still a lot to uncover with Kieran. I don't think we've even gotten past the surface on what Kieran has to offer out on this island. What are you guys feeling on Kier?
I right away thought that Kieran was a Capricorn.
Okay.
He just kind of has it's kind of for the same reasons you thought Aries. Like, he has this rough exterior. He seems to really care about. Also, like, Aries are great leaders. I think Capricorns really want to lead, and he definitely kind of steps up into that role a bit. He tells Henry to stop, or who does he tell to stop crying right away? And I feel like that's so
everybody.
Yeah, he's just like, stop crying, and it's like, okay, like, relax, it's not affecting you. But I also think he's like almost too dumb to be a Capricorn, or like too something to be a Capricorn. So maybe there's that opposition energy. Not that Cancers are dumb, but maybe he's battling with some like push-pull energy in his life. Plus, we find out midway through that he knows how to cook. I feel like that's very Cancer. It could also be Taurus. I know you were saying Taurus, so I could go Taurus or Cancer moon, maybe Capricorn sun.
I agree with what both of you said. I am kind of a combo of the two. Clearly, first thing I thought when I saw Kieran was Mars, Mars, Mars. I do think he's an Aries sun for all of the reasons you've stated. Also, I mean, Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars rules knives. He's literally the one to stab the jaguar. He's always just like hunting, going after it, and he's not thinking. I don't know if it's him or if it's someone else who says kind of as his motto, which is act first, think later. And that to me is Aries to a T. He leads, but he isn't, like you said, Lisa, the Capricorn way of like wanting to be in charge, kind of having that authority. I think he's just doing it. He's not thinking about it. He's just going and sees that there's an issue. But I do think that there could be a Capricorn moon in there. I kind of think everyone on the island. I liked this idea of kind of everybody having a Capricorn moon.
Whoa.
Because I think that Capricorn moon speaks to an experience of someone kind of having to be responsible for themselves from potentially an early age, kind of having to take care of your feelings, but also not necessarily express them. Maybe that's just being a man, but I think also all of these people came there to sort of to be, I don't know, to grow and be changed. So I like the idea of this Aries sun, Capricorn moon. Okay,
Let's dig in.
let's talk about Ivan.
You know, you do understand that we share a common enemy, right?
Ivan cracks me. Ivan is just such a Gemini. No, I mean, like, come on. The boys, I feel like, are such archetypes of their signs. I feel like, and maybe that's just the girls being just so nuanced. The boys are just like, yeah, I'm a freaking Gemini. Can't you tell? I mean, that's it. That's the tweet. He's a Gemini. He's popular, I think. Like, he seems popular. He's gossipy as hell. He's commenting online. Those thumbs do not stop sending texts, messages. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. It's the communicator. It rules technology. And he is an online kind of guy. I'm kind of shocked we haven't seen him just like fake scrolling, so, like, just out of habit, because he's just such a phone baby. He definitely brings a lot of that Gemini gossipy, chatty, spreading that information flavor. I feel like Ivan's really air sign in general. I'm gonna throw Libra moon out there just because he is a lover, but he's also a little, sorry Libra, a little bit clueless. Like, there is just this innocence that feels really air, and I don't think there is a dash of earth to Ivan. Like, I don't get anything earthy. He's in people's business. He doesn't really even stop when people are like, look at what's happening. So I do think he's just really floating around. What do you guys think on this air? I just all I have is the gem Libra. I'm not sure on the rising. I almost want to say Aquarius just to give him this big old air trine, but thoughts?
I don't think there's Aquarius. He's too of the self to me, which Aquarius can be, but I feel that one of the phrases that he says is we share a common enemy. And to me, like, that isn't Aquarius, is we share a common purpose to me. We share a common enemy to me is Leo. And I think a lot of the stuff he does with his social media, there's definitely air there. I think that's you've proved the point for us, Stevie. But I think a lot of the stuff he does with his social media, a lot of the stuff he's doing is to like aggrandize himself. It's not always like, oh, I'm just like interested in Twitter. Like, it's like, no, I want people to be interested in me. So that's why I say Leo. I also think he's funny in a way that I think is like a little bit, I don't know, maybe just a little bit fixedier. I think there is where he's like, what a twist. It's like, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a little more sarcastic and a little like, I don't know, not like, it's like grouchier to me or something. I don't know. He definitely has a social justice bent, and so I think that's where some of the air stuff comes in. But I think it's that like fire air combo where you're like, spraying a aerosol at a match, and it's just like going buck wild. That's what I see for Ivan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I like the Leo.
I agree. I also think Leo. That is definitely my first. I mean, we see him opening video of, I think, Leo Sun and Leo Rising. To me, we see him opening video. He's wearing his opinions on his shirt. Again, a throwback to season 1 with Fatten and her shirt, which we were like, ooh, do we believe it? Do we not? But I think for Ivan, it's very much like, this is who I am. And if you're not on board, get out of my way because I'm not changing, which is so fixed to me. Also, he is so theatrical and performative and dramatic. He talks about the poetry, he's naming the sword. Leo, not always, but archetypally speaking, Leo is such a performer. Leo is ruled by the sun. They are ruled by the heart. It's so like, expressing sacred self-expression, stating who you are, embodying it, and showing up in your fullness at all times. And I mean, even on the deserted island, Ivan is nothing if not absolutely fully himself. Leo does want so much to stand up for other people and to be the center in that like warm inviting kind of way too. And I think that sometimes they can be hot, and like I said, people around them can kind of get burnt on that. But I think ultimately it is because they want to create warmth and generosity. They want everyone to feel as vibrant and passionate and expressive about themselves as they do, and they don't see why everybody shouldn't like feel that way, you know. And I think that that's something that he does when we see him, even though he and Kieran, which we see their past, they obviously are kind of butting heads, but they also work really well together, which I think fits with Kieran being another fire sign, where it is like, you know, two stars. That's a tough one, but when they do work together, I think they really do help each other. And it's that kind of like supporting fixed, like when they kill the jaguar, you know, he's the assist, Kieran makes the stab, but couldn't have done it without the Leo co-star, you know. Let's talk about Roth. Sweet baby Roth.
For me, I saw a Sagittarius and Gemini opposition in Roth. I don't know exactly where in the chart. It could be sun and rising. It could be sun and moon. I think at first, you know, the details we learn about him are that, you know, he's never traveled by plane. He's not good with names. These things to me are very Gemini. Not the really traveling thing, but Gemini and Mercury kind of rule those more closer places like your neighborhood and, you know, just short trips and stuff like that, where Sagittarius is more long distance. Later on, we find out that Roth is actually traveling the border every morning to go to school, living in kind of two different worlds and two different lives. He's bilingual. He has these two cultures. He's also kind of into like classes in a way with like his girlfriend and her family versus like his family. So I think there is this definite like push-pull that's happening here. Sagittarius and Gemini rule that short travel, long travel. I think Sagittarius is very, you know, multicultural and multilingual and all those things. There's also a point where, you know, they're kind of deciding about what they think about Seth, and Roth like kind of doesn't, well, obviously he ends up going with Seth eventually, but it's one of those things where he's like, I don't have all the information yet, so I can't like give you an answer, which I think is very mutable. I don't know if it's like right or wrong, but I think it's very mutable of not being able to be like, well, like I've just found this out, I haven't had time to think it over, and I also like haven't heard both sides of the story. That's why I think Sagittarius, Gemini, I think there's push-pull and then those things.
Okay. I like that. I think that you're right about the kind of mutability, but I'm going to say Libra rising, because I think that he does have this kind of likability and this kind of, you know, friendliness but quietness. And I think that Libra rising really does want to make a good impression, wants people to like them, but also isn't going to assert themselves or show their cards in a way that would lead them to be ostracized or, you know, out of the group at all. And I think that also Libra rising would put my Capricorn moon for him in the 4th house. He has that family responsibility at home. He's literally working with his family, having to help them out, but also is really pulled out to, I think, this Cancer stuff, which I think ultimately I'm going to go Cancer sun for him. Again, this kind of home out push-pull. Do I stay true to my family? Do I go off in this new life with my girlfriend? But also I think that Cancer sun in the 10th especially is another one of like wanting to be liked, wanting to feel like he belongs, like he's part of something, but also kind of being afraid to be too assertive or, you know, he wants to be like on the team. He wants someone else to kind of tell him what to do, even though ultimately, you know, he knows he has personal responsibility and that's what he is there to develop. Plus, I like that, Lisa, like you said, that Sag Gemini, if he had a Libra rising, Sagittarius is in his 3rd house. 3rd house is those like short trips. And I like that for thinking of him going to another country on a daily basis, even though it's literally a short distance, but also this kind of like, I don't know, higher and also foreign learning, but it's for high school. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. I think what you're both saying lends well to my pitch on Roth, because right off the gate, he says to Leah, I'm quiet, I'm alone a lot. So I immediately went to Aquarius energy, especially with the moon. But I'm gonna go Aquarius. I was tossing back and forth between Aqua Moon and Aqua Sun, but I do get this, like, I don't know, there's that brooding, like, I don't want to be the main character, but I am, and people are drawn to me and my story and who I am. And so I do get Aqua energy. Now, off of what you said, Julia, I do like a Leo moon too, of this sort of discovering yourself, and he has this big stoicness that I do think that opposition of Aquarius and Leo often can have, of like the spotlight and then working with other people, finding yourself in the group, which I think Roth is constantly trying to do. But the real thing I really wanted to kind of sort through was his rising sign, because I had a theory that this 8th house is a Libra 8th house because of those shared resources with his love. I mean, rich girlfriend alert, so jealous, super lucky. And 8th house is other people's money. So I think that being with that sign of Libra with relationships and partnerships, we are seeing Roth struggle with the two worlds that he is living in. And what you said, Lisa, of the different classes he's even floating through with which feels very Libran. And then same with the group on the island. And I don't know though, Roth's got a temper. I'm curious where that might come from. Maybe it is all this stoic Aquarius Leo has to hold it down. The Pisces is like peace, but something in there unleashes what, we've seen Roth get physical.
I can totally see the Pisces rising, because I think, again, in going with Seth, like, it isn't even clear to you as the viewer if he believes him, or if it's like, we can't leave him alone, which is such a Pisces thing, or like, maybe we'll figure it out later or whatever. He doesn't give his perspective on it. He just does it.
Sound off on what you think Roth's signs are in the comments. That's been our recap of The Wild Season 2, Part 1. Tune in to see Part 2, where we break down even more characters. And if you still can't get enough Wilds content, be sure to watch our recap of Season 1, where we break down all of the signs of the girls, including the Shoney ship, what you all came for. So be sure to tune in. Also, let us know in the comments what you think about our predictions.
If you'd like to see more of us, you can check out our podcast, What's Your Sign Podcast, anywhere podcasts are found, or follow us on social media.
Let us know what other Prime shows you would like us to cover here on In the Stars. Sound off in the comments. Make your voice heard. Get out, rock the vote, and tell us who you'd like to talk about astrologically.
Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time in the stars.
Whoa, oh my God. I see the
See you later. We have to try everything.
Drink.
Keeping this the nighttime.
I don't care about the show. I just want a good blooper reel.
I want to learn science.
You guys are gonna make me look like I'm in the show, right? You're gonna put in the effects. Replace the green. I don't want to look like an asshole here.
Sorry.